The community inspires a lot of different stuff in Brawl Stars, from new skins to new brawlers to a ton of new map ideas. But what about new game mode ideas? I have 10 really amazing community-made game mode ideas that I think could be and maybe should be added to Brawl Stars. Let's go over them. Now at the end, I'm going to give some bonus content ideas that I also really think should be added to the game. But make sure to let me know what game modes you think should be added to Brawl Stars, and which of these 10 is your favorite. And subscribe if you like more stuff like this or other top gameplay or tips. The first game mode idea I want to share is 5 versus 5. This is one that's suggested a lot and is one. I also have 2 maps for you. This is one of them. And it's something you can actually do in friendly battles, but not very well because you don't have set teams. Everyone's still technically by themselves. 5 versus 5 in Brawl Stars, I honestly feel like it just fits. You already have a 10-person game mode. Why not make a 5 versus 5? You can do it on a showdown size map. Here's one example. Here's another example. You can have different objectives, or you can just have it be a straight team deathmatch. Maybe have each person have 1 life, or have it be like bounty. Either way, I think 5 versus 5 naturally could be a really good game mode idea in Brawl Stars. A lot of different brawlers that could support each other. How are you going to fight in a 5 versus 5? Is it better to stick together as a team, to go on solo and try and get solo kills, gank people, surprise them? Do you want to flank them? I think there's a lot of different strategies you can do and a lot of different maps you could do where 5 versus 5 in Brawl Stars would be really cool. Next idea is basically Gun Game by Flosh. He calls it Brawl Game. This would be really cool. First, I'll have to set it in Showdown. I'm not sure if you would do every single brawler, like advance to every single brawler. Basically, you get a kill with the brawler and you advance to the next brawler. Maybe you set 5 or 10 brawlers. That way it's not a really, really long game mode, because Brawl Stars likes, you know, 2 to 3 minute games, like at maximum for most game modes. This would be really cool though. Set it in Showdown style map, have people respawning, 10 members. This would be really fun. Just advance through different ones, getting different kills. Maybe even put it on a smaller map, honestly, just to make it a quicker game, because Showdown map is a pretty big map and it only gets smaller because of the poison. So I'm not sure if you would still have poison with this or what, but a gun game style game mode in Brawl Stars could be really, really cool. Make it a ticketed event maybe, because make it not appear as often, or however you want to do it. Next idea is Caravan Mode. This is in some other games, most notably Overwatch, I think. But this person has it as a 4 versus 4, which could be interesting. You could also have a 3 versus 3, or even 5 versus 5, whatever. I'm not sure what the exact amount of people would be, or the map size. But essentially, you have something called a caravan. You have an object that moves from one part of the map to the other part of the map, and one team's objective is to protect that object, and the other team wants to destroy it until, like, before it reaches that game point, or before it reaches that set point. This would be a really interesting game mode, I think, for Brawl Stars. You could definitely make it work. One thing that might be tricky is the respawn. Are you respawning by the item if you're the protecting team, or are you respawning back at the set point? Which is better to have it for? And same for the robbers as well. I think this could be really fun though. A lot of different ways you could do it. It's sort of like a moving heist in a way, but there's just one set attacking team, one set defending team. I do know an old heist, for you people who are global players, the old heist actually used to be literally sort of like this, except not moving. There would be one attacking team, one defending team, but they found that it sort of wasn't fair because one side ended up having an advantage, and this is where they moved to the double safe in heist that it is today. So I don't know if having one attacking team, one defending team would totally be fair. Maybe you could have 2 caravans. You got to choose to defend yours or attack the enemies, but I think this could be a really cool potential game mode. Now 5v5 has been suggested. What about 1 versus 1? 1 versus 1 in Brawl Stars I think could be a lot of fun. I don't know if it would be one of the best game modes. I don't know if it would be a totally fair game mode, but what you could do is after each kill have both members respawn at the respawn point. I don't think you could have them just keep on going, because then you could just sort of camp the respawn, or the invincible person might have a really big advantage. That one person who died might also have a really big advantage. So you probably have to have them reset after every kill. Maybe have it go to the first like 3 or 4 kills or 5 kills or something like that. This would be a really fun game mode. I don't know if it would be totally fair, because certain brawlers are just going to have a big advantage over other brawlers. Like if it's Dynamite versus Mortis, you know, the Mortis should win that like 80% of the time, something like that. So it would be a really fun game mode potentially. You could settle a lot of arguments that you have over who's a better player, definitely. That would be a good way to do it. But I think this could be fun at the least, and maybe just have it be a friendly battle sort of thing. It'd be nice to have game modes that are available in friendly battle, but maybe don't always appear in the map rotation. Now this is technically not a game mode, but it's something that gets suggested a lot, and would be an amazing thing to add to Brawl Stars, which is adding a map editor and making it a public one too, where you can submit your map to the public and people can upvote it or downvote it, give it whatever points or not, and you can play on those community-made maps in-game. That would be fantastic. Honestly, new maps is one of the best things for Brawl Stars, and adding community-made maps is so easy to do, and if you can do this, make it even easier, make it even more accessible, it would be such a great way. Honestly, one thing I think Brawl Stars should do is have a new map every single week. The community can make amazing maps, and just adding that in is such a small thing to add to the game that keeps it fresh every single week, every single day. Just playing on new maps, it's a new experience, new brawlers. I think it makes it really fun. So a map editor would be one of the best ways to do this. Okay, look, battle royales are the hot thing right now. They have been for the past year. What about an even bigger battle royale in Brawl Stars? I'm not totally sold on having this in Brawl Stars, but I do think it's a good potential idea. I think potentially you could do a game mode like this, where you have even more than 10 people in an even bigger map. Say you have 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 people in one huge showdown map. The one thing that would be, you'd have to nerf power-ups, right? Because you could end up with like a 20 or 30 power-up person, and they're just going to completely destroy anyone they come across. But maybe everyone would gang up on them. Imagine teaming in a huge battle royale mode. I don't know about that. That could be even worse than solo showdown as it is. It could potentially happen. It'd probably be an even bigger incentive to do it in a huge game mode like this. But I do think it's a potential idea. I wanted to share it with you all and get your thoughts on it. I think it could be fun, especially if there isn't teaming. But I have a feeling team would probably be even worse in this sort of game mode. Now here's a game mode suggested by Miriam8 called Brawl Hunt. Sounds kind of cool. Essentially there's one person who is the target, and there's 3 people who have to try and kill that target. That person obviously just trying to stay alive as long as possible and deny the enemy team from getting points. Well, it's not really teams. Everyone is, for themselves. If you kill the target, you get a point. And once you kill the target, you become the target. And in this example, once you become the target, you get full health and ammo, just as sort of like a safety precaution to not get too big of a disadvantage, because there probably might be enemies nearby you. Another thing that would be cool is once you die, you just respawn a set distance away from the target, like say 20 tiles or 15 tiles. That way you're not in any really unfavorable position or having set spawn points. I think it would be cool to have a moving respawn point where it's just so many tiles away from the target as opposed to just being on a set point on the map, which might be kind of random, kind of unfair, I think. And this would be a good way to go around it. But this could be a kind of cool game mode, I think, having some sort of mode like this. What about King of the Hill in Brawl Stars, where basically you have a point on the map and the team has to go try and control the point of the map by being in that, and they gain points for the longer they're in that part of the map. Now, this is one example, and here's another called Base Race. Both of these are basically King of the Hill in sort of a sense. I think King of the Hill could be really cool in Brawl Stars. I think it definitely could work. In Brawl Stars, I don't know the size map you'd have. Both of these are like showdown size maps. I kind of don't think you would do a showdown size map. I feel like you would do a normal 3v3 size map, sort of like Gem Grab, where it's a central objective, but in this case, well, maybe it is kind of like Gem Grab, where you're both trying to control the center of the map. But I think this would be a totally different take on it, because you can't lose your points. Like in Gem Grab, you can control the game and completely just lose at the very end. The enemy team can take all your gems. In King of the Hill, it's not, you can't really lose your points. You try and control the center, and you have to gain points over time and reach a certain point threshold. What about Capture the Flag? This is another commonly suggested game mode for Brawl Stars that I do think could be really cool. And I did do a potential game mode trial of this in Brawl Ball, where you have the ball as the flag. Doesn't exactly work because you can pass it, so you have to just pretend you can't pass it. I also think you should add some other rules, like for instance, maybe you can shoot while carrying the flag, or maybe you can't. Probably makes sense to not, but maybe you can drop the flag and then you can shoot. That could be a good way around it, which is something you can't currently do in Brawl Ball. And of course, in Brawl Ball, there's only one ball as opposed to having 2 flags, which you would probably have in Capture the Flag, your own flag, which you have to protect, and the enemy flag, which you have to take and capture and take back to your own base. Now, I got a couple bonus ideas for you as well. First of all, friendly battle customization, sort of a game mode idea, I think is honestly kind of needed. One of the next steps for Brawl Stars I really think should be added to the game. Being able to turn off bots, first of all, so you can play like in a match with just your friends and not having a bunch of bots running around. Adding in event modifiers into friendly battles would be awesome, or just any of these other game modes into stuff like that, or other things you can do as well. I think would be a really good idea for custom friendly battles. All right, the end game in Brawl Stars is really lacking, so this idea has been suggested a couple times, where you turn those trophies you lose at the end of every season into something you can use as a redeemable reward. In this case, it's called the Star Shop, where you use those trophies and you can get items for them. The end game in Brawl Stars kind of sucks. There's honestly no point in pushing up, which is why I don't. If you guys want me to push higher trophies, let me know, but it's kind of really demotivating because you just lose your trophies that you gained every 2 weeks, or you lose a lot of them, and there's just, long term, there's really no point in pushing that much. One thing in Brawl Stars I think is really boring, although this is sort of like a dirty gemmer problem, is opening Brawl boxes is really boring. I feel like they're kind of not very exciting. The only time they're ever exciting, I feel like, is if you get a star power or if you get a new brawler, which neither of those happen very much. You have to open about over 3,000 boxes total throughout your Brawl history, and you're only going to have about 50 of those be exciting. So there's not many boxes that are very exciting. What about adding some new boxes, in this case called the Power Box? There's a lot of good box ideas from Clash Royale that you can actually take to Brawl Stars, I feel like. Not saying this one is from that, but essentially, you just get a bunch of power points and you can get different box types. Would be really cool. Getting power points for different brawlers. Power points is a really cool thing where you can upgrade your brawlers. Everyone wants to upgrade your brawlers, get stronger brawlers. Why not have a box that literally is about getting stronger brawlers? Now this one is called the Shadow Box, which is essentially sort of like the Lightning Box, I think, from Clash Royale, where you open it up and you get an option and you can strike whatever it is if you don't want it, and a new thing will appear in place of that. Like say you got penny power points, but you don't want penny power points, you want to upgrade your dynamite or whatever. Essentially you don't want those penny power points, you just like, okay, I don't want those, give me something else, and something else pops up. That would be a really cool thing to add. Just a little bit more variety. Different box variety would be great for Brawl Stars. Let me know what ideas you would love down below. That's going to be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll catch you later.